This is Do by Friday, a weekly challenge podcast with Alex Cox and Merlin Mann. This week's challenge, try a new drug.
Hello, hello.
Good morning, Alex. How are you?
I am great.
Excellent. You've come to the right place. We've been waiting for you. Won't you come in? Has your whole party arrived? Can I start you with a drink? Is this your first time dining with us?
I made a mistake the other day.
You?
I was asked, right? I know. A very nice hostess asked me that at a bar, and I said,
Which?
no.
Wait, which?
The hostess
Ask you which of those things.
have you dined? How are you? We're so glad to have you here. Have you been with us before? And I just said, yes, because
That's risky.
It's a hips. Yeah, and
Because you don't know, you might be expected. Then you say, well, then okay, fine. Then we'll take you straight to the second chamber. And you say, wait a minute, what are the chambers? And you say, they say, well, I thought you dined with us. You got to go find out what that second chamber is. It's a lot worse. I can just tell you I've been there, and it's a lot worse than the first chamber. I can't tell you about it because you're a liar. I don't collude with liars.
I lied. I lied, and what's worse, I lied with confidence. And
Can you figure out? I mean, I think I understand why people ask that. This is a very, 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 very old joke on Do by Friday. You go to a place, you just want to have dinner and talk to your friends. You sit down, and then somebody, the waitron, says to you, "Is this your first time dining with us?" And I think the old joke, especially with Max, goes, we do things a little bit different here. We serve things family style, or what you call small plates. Everything that we serve, you've heard that. Everybody out there, I'm sorry I'm explaining a joke, but you've all heard this, right? You've all sat down, and then somebody explains food to you. And they say, well, we do things a little bit different here. Everything, and this is the first time I ever went to a tapas place. I got this experience where they go like, everything on our menu is meant to be shared. And it's like, well, okay. You want to tell me anything about like tax structures or like the way you got easements for anything else about your business I need to know before I talk to my friends without you telling me about restaurants? But in my understanding of that, I think there are places where that makes some sense more than others.
Yes.
I'll give you an example from my childhood. To call it a chain is a little bit silly, but there was this really wild, like very kind of exotic, fun, touristy place called Kapok Tree Inn. And they did serve everything family style. Like when you ordered for the whole table and shared, whatever you wanted. But it was the 70s. They didn't say that. They it was Kapok Tree. You figured it out. But if there's places where there's like a bit, like small plates, or what are other examples of this?
if there's a flight of something, if the appetizers come out in a strange way, there's weird
you think so?
novelty.
Yeah, I mean, or like Brazilian. If you've never been to I always confuse the painting style with the Brazilian restaurant. One's churrasco and one's churrasqueiro, I think.
One's downstairs, one
Is this your first time at CGI Rembrandt's? You notice our backgrounds are rather dark.
But
if you have to say, I'm sorry, I'm being silly. But then you say something like, okay, well, if you've never been here, here's the way it works. It's a flat price. It's Prix Fix, and you go to our extensive salad bar thing and get whatever you want, AYCE. And then what's going to happen is men in cool outfits are going to walk around with swords of meat, and we'll offer them to you. And you'll notice on your table there's a cute little wheel. I only remember obrigado. It's the only word I remember. But there's a little wheel that has a green and a red side. And if you don't want us to bug you for a while, turn it to red. And if you're always ready for more meat, like Daddy is, you switch it to green, and they keep bringing you meat. And they bring you chicken heart. They bring you salty sirloin, all those delicious Brazilian foods. I think that makes 1,000% sense. I think it's become something people do to be a little bit cute as a restaurant.
There's a difference, though, because you like words. Words mean things.
You don't?
And saying,
I think you distrust
try.
words, which is smart.
I
Makes you sad.
no.
Yes, everything makes
there
you
are
sad
many
ultimately.
things. That's
Men
so
always
not
end with
true.
anger, and you land on fear and sadness.
I listen.
So
I'm
you go
not
to the
chilly.
restaurant with your
I'm not
friend,
chilly.
and
The elf that can. No, the problem was I was there first meeting people.
has your whole
and,
party arrived? We only
the-
seat groups once the whole party's arrived.
I'm
Your first time
fine.
dining with us? Is this your fifth time dining with us? Because we call that
The
we call
fifth
that
time.
No, we call that
Oh.
the meal sank, and the fifth meal, it gets fucking weird. So it's very important you tell us exactly how many times you've been here. I'm trying to
Okay.
remember. I feel like I've been here twice, but I might have been here up to 4 times. Oh shit. We got to fucking figure this out because your fifth
They
time
do
here.
that, and
No,
by they I mean
no, that's silly. They don't do that. No, my bid is funny, but that wouldn't actually do that.
That's the problem. I think post
Are you
COVID,
saying it's like going through school? Like if they find out, is it like grades where they find out if like, oh, it's your fourth time dining here, so you learn state history, that kind of thing.
like Domo. Oh gosh,
Domo
people-
arigato,
I-
Mr. Roboto.
Domo.
Welcome to my
for
dojo.
exa-
Thank you for inviting me to your dojo.
For example, I didn't know what Benihana, what a Benihana was until The Office came out and the very famous Benihana episode.
Really? I only
I
make that noise
did.
because it seems like something you would have come across in the Chicagoland area.
I sort of did. There's this restaurant called Domo 77 that likes to think it's better than Domo.
That sounds like a French sex comedy I would have seen on Cinemax in 1981. What would you say? What's it called? Domo 77?
Domo 77,
Domo
and I'll put it
77.
in notes because it is. I now
Charlene is a
have
flight
been-
attendant who enjoys teppanyaki, but can she catch a truly hot shrimp in her mouth, or bosom, or hijab?
It's really like one of those
Domo
places.
77.
Oh, I don't like the
So the teppanyaki, but the teppanyaki phenomenon, the idea, teppanyaki as performed in America, where it's like a little show, and you go and you sit around a hot table, and the chef shoots rice at your friend, that kind of thing.
Yes. So I was
He can
familiar
catch
with
a shrimp in
that.
his hat, in his ratatouille hat.
Oh no!
They don't do that in the
It
Japanese
is the
videos.
pocket. Really?
You got one hand in your pocket, and the other hand's giving you a teppanyaki.
I didn't know that's what they called
Isn't
it.
it
now.
ironic? I love teppanyaki
Don't
videos.
you think?
There's a channel called Aiden Films that I was very obsessed with for a long time, and it's just a guy. He's expanded since then, but it used to be he would just go to like kind of not always crazy high end, but pretty high end teppanyaki places and get a dish, and he would just film the person making it and him almost eating it.
Almost.
I've never seen his
What
mouth.
is an almost okay?
Well, you tell me. What would almost eating mean to you, Alex?
Like-
Do you think the food
is
would go
it
into the
a
body that we've seen, or would it
bite?
not? Okay.
We've talked about this. Like
I don't
sometimes
care. What are you
want to
talking about? We
bite a
talked about
thing
this. What the fuck does that mean? We've talked about
because
this. Food?
what does the act of eating versus almost eating? Because you say I want to eat something when really I just want to bite it like a piece of soap. Is that an almost eat, or is an almost eat like it just goes close? Some food goes close to the mouth. Or is almost eat like, oh, I'm looking at it, I really want
I
it.
just want to be super
Words
clear. I'm going to
mean
keep this super
things.
short, and I don't want to overly embarrass you. Is it your commitment as we sit here today that this is an actual question that you're asking me? Is that correct? The way you've worded it?
In the context of
If you were
videos,
if you're watching a
yes.
YouTube video, how would you describe someone almost eating? Do you think he would put it in his mouth, chew it, and spit it out on video at the nice teppanyaki place? Is that what Aiden Films would do?
I don't know if that's what Aiden Films would do, but
Do you want
on
to speculate?
YouTube,
Have you seen YouTube videos where people spit out food at a high-end restaurant?
yes.
How-
Well, high end.
What's your favorite channel? What's your favorite channel on that?
I don't know. I do not have a favorite
What's it called? Room 101?
mukbang channel. No,
What's the one
no.
where they interview Trump voters? What's that one called?
I don't even remember anymore.
The most kiddingest whites you've ever known.
Are you making fun of?
I'm making fun of everything you recommend. I'm also making fun. I'm not going to get to it right now, but I'm scurrying. I'm running. I don't know why. I'm like fucking. was going to say Dionysus, but I think that's the wine guy. I'm like Sisyphus. I fucking run. I'm ready. I'm here. I'm here 10 minutes early.
Uh-huh.
And you're in candor, usually not. And then I got a text from you a little bit ago. Mm-hmm. It looks like it's about a 1,500 word text that you sent me.
There's a lot of content.
Why would you send me this long? Why do you say? I think it makes sense sometimes, but I think a lot of the times it's just trying to make you feel a little bit special. And having worked in restaurants and having friends who worked in more like in chain restaurants of different kinds, there's a lot of training, and there's a lot of they tell you what to say when you go out there. You're supposed to say, "Hi, my name is Skip. How are we doing tonight?" For some reason, even if your name's not Skip, it's weird.
Listen, we send texts a little bit differently here, and they do have markdown format, and there's context, and there's a footnote as well. I've never had a waiter named
Why wouldn't you send that to me as a
Skip,
markdown file, though?
You know what? Good question. I
Thanks.
did consider it. That's
Okay,
a very good question.
Yeah, you know what? Also, it's just, you know what? I've had this idea going over in my head for a few days, and because it feels important, and some things, it starts out as, man, I hate the way fucking people are, and then it turns into, man, I'm like that. That sucks. And then it turns into, oh man, can we all kind of stop doing this? Those kinds of things where you're you kind of finally realize stuff, about life.
Yes.
You ever do that?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I've already hinted at this a little bit in the document. I got this new thing I'm just kind of turning over in my head, and it's about me and it's about the world. Okay. Let me just stipulate that. Don't give people homework. And that's a lesson I'm trying to learn, because I don't mean to give people homework, but I sometimes unintentionally or in what I think of as a friendly way give people homework, and that can mean so many different kinds of things. First of all, do you get what I mean? For example, the way I am with you. There's nobody in the world that I am worse about this with, arguably, than you, and it's usually a joke, but it's only a joke in the sense that I don't actually expect you to do any of it. It's not a joke in the sense that I'm going to keep recommending TV shows and movies and YouTube videos to you because there's just stuff I feel like it would be fun. And it's kind of a funny bit, right? Mm-hmm. But I don't think of that as homework in the usual way, and I'll tell you why. When I think of homework, and I'm analogizing that to adult relationships, the real homework, the kind I really hate, is one where I feel an obligation to do it, and I dread somebody checking in to see if I've done the homework yet. And let's go back to first principles, Clarice. I never ask for that homework. So this can be people who give you presents when you know what they really want is a compliment, or a thank you, or a photo of you using it, or you know what I mean? There's those kinds of super sweaty friends who are who just live to constantly be owed a slight favor.
I mean, in
and
America,
gratitude all the time, or
Christmas
compliments.
is adult finals. It's the test that you've had to prepare for all year.
How well do you know this person? Especially, think about people you're dating or whatever. You have to be so careful with what you give people. What it's, you know what I mean?
I have a story. Yeah. Go on.
I got a lot of stories.
Oh,
Anyways, I'm thinking about that, and I already try not to give people homework unless I anticipate. The homework part, though, the part that makes, like I say, just underscore, it's less a way of saying if you like Nathan For You might want to check out John Benjamin's Got a Van. To me, the homework people, it tends to come across more as, oh my God, I've been watching this series for 5 years, and it's good. But there's this one episode in season 6 that I'm not even going to tell you what it is. You just got to trust me and watch. I do shit like this all the time. And then of course you're like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I haven't seen that, but yeah, cool. And then somebody checks in with you. They check in. They check in and see if your homework is done. Have you done that yet? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Oh,
and so
yes.
So let me do the big pivot, and then I'm going to throw it to you because I've talked a lot. I don't want to do that in general, but dude, fucking don't give me homework if I don't know you. Like I already get so much homework from strangers, like doctors, and like there's people who are just always putting something onto you and saying, this is your thing now that you have to go take care of, and I'll check in with you about it. You know? Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, don't give people homework. And like, I don't know. I guess the pivot here is, if I'm here to talk to my friends and like have a meal, like I almost wish you could just, it's like a taxi ride or something. I wish you could just, you know, like in the Brazilian restaurant, you could say, you know, I want green, I want more meat, red, I want no meat. I almost want to just be able to say, if it would be cool with you, can we just make this kind of low key? And like, for example, do not interrupt me to ask if my food is good, if I'm talking to somebody. All of that feels like homework. Where it's like there's just these constant demands of other people to like adhere to the way they want you to experience something, and then we'll check in with you to make sure you're doing it correctly. Mm-hmm. And that's not directed toward anybody except mostly me. But like the last thing I want is a fucking waiter coming in there and like wanting to give me a TED talk on how a sauce works. Did you get some of the sauce? Excuse me? Excuse me? Oh, no. I just want to make sure you know that comes with a jus. And you want to, with each bite, you want to add a little bit. I've had so many people try to explain food to me because they thought I didn't know how sauces worked. People I love have explained food to me. Stop explaining food. Stop giving people homework. That's my feeling on this.
This feels like another very American or at least like Western thing of the expectation from childhood of how I grew up with homework, at least, because I've mentioned before that I do think regrets are silly and can be really damaging, but I do kind of regret always doing my homework in school because it was an expectation.
Nobody told you there was an option to do anything, then do your homework tonight perfectly.
And no one said like it's going to be fine if you're, you know, just getting in trouble in 8th grade. Like you'll probably be
bounce,
fine.
Yeah.
And
you know what, dude? Can I just say I totally agree. I just want to say I totally agree with you. I think it's, and I can only speak from my own experience and speculate about others' experience, but that absolutely comports with the experience that I had. And that becomes so frustrating in trying to think about our past and talk about it is like, when people look back at the past, they see so many more options than I did. People see so many more options for how we all could have behaved better, how we could have all done things, how we all could have fight the powers that be, all that kind of stuff. And like, if you weren't there, you don't know what it was really like. And like, in my case, it's so frustrating to me to have to feel like I've got to like keep underscoring, like as terrible as the world is and as terrible as we all were, do you think you're that different from everybody who's ever been alive? Is there something that's so special about having been born after 1985 that gives you some kind of insight into the world that the billions of people who've lived never had before? Do you honestly believe you're part?
You've lost me.
On what sense?
You think people post 1985 are
What'd you do all that
of
homework,
the homework
Alex?
givers?
Didn't you realize? Didn't you? Well, no. But listen, like, don't you understand how empowerment works? And that you were not standing in your power when you were doing all that homework? Why didn't you fight back? Thing I used to hear from people who were not successful in school was what is it? They'd say, "Don't let your academics get in the way of your education." Oh, man. I'm so high right now.
I've heard that. Still don't know what it means.
No, it's good. No, it makes a ton of sense because you're using words in different ways, which is clever. But you know what I mean? Like, I'm the one who's always the pill about this, but you are in a place to understand what I mean when I'm a pill about that, which is like, if I were to sit here
real quick, last week when it was like, you made it a bit, but it genuinely kind of broke my brain when you skipped class. That was just, to me, skipping class was so far not an option.
Oh it did
God.
Not. I was 18 and I skipped school exactly one day. I left school early illegally once with my girlfriend and my best friend to go buy a shirt. at the shopping center where I worked.
I tried to. It was our last week of senior year of high school. My friends and I, we're all honor roll freaks. We're like, okay, we've heard that some kids in this school have skipped class, and sorry, when I say skipped class, I don't mean leave the school. No. At this Catholic school, skipping class meant going to the cafeteria and hanging out with other kids because that's when their study hall was.
Oh, so you could pass unnoticed as somebody who should be someplace else.
Yes.
Okay.
Except we were the kind of kids who never,
never
did that.
Never in a million
so
years. I don't break rules like that. I never broke rules
we walked
like that.
there. We were openly mocked by the dean of there was that, I don't know if, again, all of
the dean of they.
The dean of, they dean,
Well, 'cause it wouldn't be a dean of boys or girls. It would be,
imagine the opposite of the dean from Community. That's kind of like how high school deans were in the mid 2000s.
So somebody tall, straight, lots of hair, doesn't wear costumes?
Yep. And not excited to see anyone. No costume, but
actor.
would just right. But the dean, and he's like he's the cop of like a principal, like walking through to make sure that kids are fine, making
we had
sure
a
that all the
principal.
lockers
We had a
are
principal.
locked.
I think it's like prime ministers and presidents or something. We had the principal of the school, and then we had a dean of boys and a dean of girls. And amongst their skills amongst their responsibilities, it wasn't purely disciplinary, but that was a big part of what they did, was like keeping order.
Mm-hmm. And he would walk around with what were they called? Oh my God. I guess they were so upsetting to me that I don't,
Pieces of the true cross.
Like a little piece of paper where you would get in trouble,
Fortune.
But it wasn't detention. It wasn't
like
detention.
what's called when you call writing somebody up. You got to write them up.
Basically, yeah. And so we were trying to sneak from our English class.
A non-secular citation.
This
particular individual was seen in the cafeteria.
And he saw us and just started laughing and was like, Alex, Derek, Kara, no.
Oh,
and
no, you're pulling Kara into this stuff? Jeez.
I will intimidate or incriminate her. She has started listening to the program much more and enjoying it. Isn't that upsetting?
It's not upsetting to me because she's not allowed to listen to the show.
Oh, she's gone now.
I banned her IP a long time ago.
Tell
her I said hi.
Good. Well, oh, that's true. She did. She didn't hear that. But it was so funny to him and the multiple other teachers
because
who
you're
knew
a
us
goody-goody?
that we were, also just like, no, you would never, like, it was just so expected that we were the type of kids. And also that should tell you about how there were like the good ones at the school, even, and the quote bad ones didn't leave the school. They went to the cafeteria and had Bosco sticks. And so just
Bosco
coming,
sticks.
and that is sort of
that sounds good.
why I think, they were so
Bosco
good.
is your version of like Nestle's Quick, like chocolate milk drink?
No, Bosco sticks are frozen or
But is it chocolate?
not. No, that it's bread with cheese in it, but that's it. It's bread with a piece of like a mozzarella stick in it, and they would heat it up.
Sounds like a made-up food.
Did you ever have market days? It's kind of similar to a kids with
Sounds like a
money
Cure
only
album.
situation.
No, I don't think we did. Was it like a potluck or something?
No, you would buy a bunch of food that supposedly helped the school the same way a book fair.
Oh, hell
supposedly helped the
yes!
school.
Oh no, I save it for after show. I have both sold so many different things at school, and I've been tangentially involved in fraud involving selling things at school, and I've put myself into personal debt based on the Snickers bars I ate and then had to pay the stage band for.
Because
Because I got high on my own supply. Biggie said specifically not to do that. That's one of the 10 crack commandments, right? Isn't it?
I don't know. I skipped class that one time. I missed the last.
I think he likes it
amendment.
when
I
people
think
call him
there's
Big
12.
Papa, but I'm not sure. Now, Big Papi is a baseball player. That's a different thing.
Anyway, I'm immune to narrative, but that's just why I think yes, that is.
No, keep going. Yeah.
No,
I hadn't heard of that. I hadn't heard the Thunder Sticks. No, they're called Bosco Sticks. Bosco.
Oh, Bosco Sticks.
Yeah.
No, and there'll be in notes. These look way more delicious than anything.
So you're looking at
It
the
was just
internet
a piece
right
of
now?
bread.
Did you look at the internet
I
the whole time we're talking?
No.
What do
If
you
I
look at when we're
don't
talking?
know, my field notes notebook.
Is it open?
Why? What do you look at? No, I haven't written. Would you like me to open it? I can.
No.
It got ripped.
No, I don't. I'm just curious.
What do you look at?
Why would it matter?
Because you asked me, and I am reciprocating. Is that?
I look at what I'm looking at is just whatever's in front of my eyes, but I'm not. My hands are right here. You can hear. I'm not using the internet at all. I try not to use the internet when I'm talking to people. No, that's just my own thing. That's not a judgment. Now I got to find out what this word is. I keep using the wrong word for this.
Not for what? For not
Well,
using
that was the brief
internet?
caesura of conversation that we normally have when people don't talk as fast and much as me. I need a way of saying I'm not. What I just said to you is not. The takeaway, as they say, is that what I just said to you was not intended to make you feel or look bad, and is in no way a passive-aggressive demand for you to do anything or to do anything differently. And I keep using the word for that. I keep using the word performative, but that's not what I mean. That's not the right word. There's another word for that. But like when you say to somebody, well, there's classics like, is your hair supposed to look like that?
So you're kind of, you want a reverse performance. So you want to go.
No, don't focus on the word performative, because like I said, that's the wrong word. It's what I'm saying is like, I felt like I used to know a term for this in the 90s, but it's when you say something to somebody and whether or not either or both of you acknowledge it, a thing that comes out as just a statement. Okay, yesterday I said I can't find either of my. I think I said it because I said a thing our little kid used to say. I said, "Dang it, I can't find either of my Marine Layer shirts that I wear every day." And then Madeline started apologizing and saying it's probably. And I said, "Honey, that was not. No, that was me. Maybe I just shouldn't talk when I'm doing things, but like that was not a criticism of you. And I certainly don't think you're hiding my clothes. And if you did, I wouldn't say anything. I mean, if you were hiding my clothes and I found out, it would be fine. I mean, we got bigger problems in this world. If there's a piece of clothing I have that you don't like, I know there's stuff you've thrown out of mine, and that's fine. I try not to look at the trash because there's always so much good stuff in our trash. No, and that's really how you thrive in life. We got to find the word for that. There's a word for that, and I'll find it out. Let's go way back because we were onto something really good earlier.
You were talking about adult homework, and I just think that it is a certain type, not even a certain type of person, but just, well,
another version of this
power
is
expectation that's. I don't know. I feel hypocritical too, saying like, "Well, why are you
we're all
just
trying
going
to get
with your
better.
homework?"
If you're trying to get better, you got to give yourself a pass.
I wish I could pass. The thing is, if you don't do the homework, you're gonna feel. I don't know. It's hard.
The homework at a
not to do
restaurant or with
homework
a friend?
without.
Which kind of homework?
Well, even at a restaurant, then there's the, oh God, what if I don't get a tip? Like they're going to ask for the manager. Oh my God.
There's a word a phrase I use a lot that I think is a good phrase. It's so ego assertive to like show up and there's a real guy, like man, guy as in man. There's a real American man thing to like coming up to a table full of strangers and immediately asserting some authority over how the evening's going to go. Right? Do you follow what I mean? Like if you're sitting around like,
Yes.
I mean, and I get it. I think I get why. It's a very like mid-market, like Chili's kind of way to be. Like places where they want to think that people, like they've got their reasons why they do everything. But like when you show up and you're like, hey guys, how we doing? I'm Chip. Can I get you started with some, and you're like, dude, we're talking about my friend's divorce. Can you just fucking exhale? Like, it really bugs me when people aren't even like looking for an opening to come in. And it's like, and then, so like, that's the first part is people like that suck. Like, I get that's your job, but like the people or like cops, the way the cops are like in that sense, but everybody who's got like a little shtick that they open with to come in and like assert authority over like, without even intending to, like, this is the way this is going to go. Let me put it this way. I am setting the tone for the next little bit of time we spend together. Right. And like, I don't want you to set that tone. If I'd known you were going to set a tone here, then I would have done something differently or different. I would have gone somewhere else. If I knew that coming here required me participating in some little passion play about your job, I would not have done that because that's not fun for me. So suddenly that homework then is not only like you're fucking up my night and I'm paying you for it, to be a little bit callow, but honest, but then I'm not allowed to break the bit. So like when a salesperson is doing salesperson stuff to me, being how I am, it's very difficult for me not to break I really want to break the bit, not to be mean, but just to go, like you're in a store and somebody's like, they give you the Sephora treatment or whatever, where they're fucking all over you like white on rice. And you're like, no, I'm just looking around. Thank you. And blah, blah, and whatever. And like, but a little of that is fine, but then it can be a lot. And the thing is, what I can't say is, look, it's your job. Retail sucks. It's a really hard job. Being a waiter is really hard work. I really appreciate that. And I'm going to tip you and stuff, but like I am not prepared to spend the next 45 minutes talking to you a lot about whatever it is you feel like talking to our table about and interrupting our conversation where we're paying to be here in order to do that. Because guess who's the dick now? In the same way, I mean, I always think like, well, increasingly I take Waymos, which is the only way to fly. But if you're in a cab or you're in a whatever, a Lyft or whatever, I mean, there's like I think there's a button you can hit now in Lyft to say you want like a chat free ride. I just wish there was some kind of an easy way to like say like, I don't feel like you need to fill the air with conversation. One of the best things about a Waymo is you can go to sleep. It's amazing. You can just lay there and close your eyes. It took me months of being in Waymos to get to where I stopped paying attention to what was happening in the world. You don't need to pay attention to what's happening in the world. You're just sitting there. Like it's the way a cab ride should be. There should be a chance for me to not have to expend the energy that I have. Ideally, a cab ride should be in my head a really good time for me to recharge rather than release energy.
Mm-hmm. I can see how this would sound antisocial on its face because I used to be kind of the same mind of I want to be part of the bit until you realize that it's more of it's like corporate homework. It is like, okay, it is your job to do the mandatory fun. And we want the vibe at this restaurant. We want everyone to be
in ways
this
you
way.
may not even realize, it benefits us to have set up the relationship in the way that we have set it up. And for making it, this is my opinion, not necessarily in the documents, the manual, but like, and to make it a little bit weird if you don't go with our bit, because our bit about how we talk to you not only improves sales, it also helps establish the rhythm for how quickly we need to turn tables in this given night. Mm-hmm. Like if we're going to do 2 seatings tonight, that's one thing. If we're going to try and do 4 seatings tonight, the way that we're talking to you has a big role in that. It goes back to last week and talking about denominators. Like it's nice to have an evening where, I mean, there's probably depending on the restaurant in particular, I bet there's diminishing returns to people being in a restaurant more than an hour. Like, there's all the weird things of like, well, large groups tend to tip less unless you put an automatic, tip on there, or like, but luxurious, multi-course meals, drinks are where, alcohol is where restaurants make a lot of money. They like you to do that, but really they want you to fucking leave. Because no matter I think pound for pound in a restaurant like, let's say, Chili's or, Applebee's or whatever, I think they make more money from another seating than they do from you staying the equivalent of even 1/3 of a seating longer than somebody else. That's a denominator thing. You know what I'm talking about? Like you do a number of, they call them turnovers. How many turnovers can we do tonight? So like if we can seat 100 people, and we've done our reservations in such a way that we want to do, say, 3 turnovers tonight. So we open at 6 and we close at 10 or whatever. Do you know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And so you're building into it. You need to make assumptions. Food's expensive. Like you got to buy fresh food. You got all this stuff. God, what a crazy job to run a restaurant. But like when we had a restaurant when I was in junior high, like that was a huge thing, was we had to have those big 3 turnovers a night.
Mm-hmm. I sort of memory hole that I technically worked in a restaurant for a year, and or at least like with and beside cooks and the Game Cafe in Chicago. The Game Cafe in Chicago was co-owned and co-opened with Cards Against Humanity, and being basically a hospitality person, you learn all of the culture of restaurants. Like you'd think that would make me be like, oh, I know this a little bit more because of 6 months, or you like being, you have far more.
I was a busboy at my mom and stepfather's restaurant, but like but I was a busboy.
But just the scope of it is absolutely wild.
The scope of the hospitality needs?
Of the restaurant industry, because you mentioned Applebee's, and you're right. Like, oh yeah, there is that turnover, like an Applebee's and a Chili's, but now there's a difference between the chains that still have waiters, like an Applebee's, versus TGI Fridays, where you have to order on the little iPad.
Oh, no kidding! They stuck with like QR codes, or
this was pre-COVID.
Wait, they've got an iPad on the table that you use to order?
It's not literally an iPad. No. It's a little.
You will interact through a device rather than through a person. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yes, and it's another new weird social code where if you're the waiter, if you need to answer questions from the customers about how to use the little digital thing that also has a section for games for kids, then you have failed. And if your boss
can you even imagine touching that thing? I always think of, I've told my wife about this many times in instances like this. This is super fast, but my doctor, when I was a kid, my pediatrician, Dr. Dine, when I was sick, go to his office, blah, 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 blah. And he had the best toys. Like, cause he's a pediatrician. So he had a whole bunch of toys that kids could play with. And I always would play with the Fisher-Price garage. Like little Fisher-Price Little People. And I didn't have the garage. I loved the garage. It had a ramp. It had an elevator. It was really, really cool. And now all I can think about is how much snot and spit and vomit of sick kids is on every little person, as well as the garage. And that device. And so is there any chance that any of the food at that restaurant is finger food? Because now I really want you to think about, first of all, how many people have touched that screen. I want you to think about how many people have touched that screen while they're eating. And I want you to think about how many people have touched that screen while they're eating and then continued eating finger food after they touched that screen. And then lick their fingers a little bit. Eat them up.
Oh. And on top of that,
baby back to the emergency room. Baby got back. I want my baby back to the polls. I think we all know how painful that can be.
That's a laugh because I don't understand what's
When I was a
baby
kid,
back?
there were funny theme restaurants, at least in Cincinnati, and I think. I mean, it's too much to go into, but like, you know, there were places. The point I want to make, one of my favorite places to go with my mom was there were several weird, funny restaurants in Cincinnati that had funny themes. There was one called like the Spaghetti Warehouse or something, where you would go, where we would go for like my birthday, and everybody's dressed up. You know, kind of like in Pulp Fiction. Remember where everybody's dressed up as a '50s person? People at this is in the '70s, and people would all be dressed like each waiter would be dressed up as a different kind of like a famous movie character or something, and I loved that. But the one that to me was so goddamn cool. I forget what it's called, like Buster T. Butterworth's or whatever. But some goddamn restaurant where you go and you sit in the booth and there's a phone on the table. The whole bit of this restaurant is you interact through a phone. So you pick up the phone and they say, "Hello, table 10, what can I do for you?" And you say, "Could I please get another mojito?" Or "I want more fry juice," or whatever. But I think you could also call other tables, and that was the 70s angle.
Oh my!
Wouldn't that be nice to be sitting there eating and you receive a call? Talk about homework. Oh no! Oh no! Oh God! What a terrible idea!
And I'm thinking about if you
ladies.
could text other
Are you
tables.
ladies enjoying your chicken fingers?
Oh God!
I think I'll give you a good chicken fingering.
And God.
Gotta get my nugs. Speaking of, do you want to talk about drugs?
Oh yes. This week's challenge was to do more drugs. Did I say it right?
No,
Is that what
keep
we
going.
Decided? No, okay. And a friend had sent me for the longest time, in my cabinet, I had a little package of 1 milligram THC indica gummies, and those are the kind that are supposed to make you chill and sleepy.
You know how I
always
remember it?
because
The only way I remember it is because Max told me indica means in the couch.
I told him that. I'm sorry. Wow. Yes, that's a good way to.
The way that I learned that was Alex. The way that I learned about that was that Alex told me that indica means in the couch, and that's how I remember it.
I'm not mad at you.
I know. You're just how everyone is. You're just how everyone is. Everybody is just staring at an empty can and not eating any of the contents.
I knew as soon as we're all trying our best.
No, but some of you aren't. A lot of you are reacting always at the same level. It's very broad and not very deep, and everyone's very angry. Or sad.
I agree. Wasn't.
Thank you. I'm gonna get more coffee.
I'm like, this is a part of the story.
So somebody had sent you some 1 milligram indica things, and are they in particular for sleeping?
Just relaxing. It just says relax and chill, and I am constantly trying to sleep better. Honestly, half of the challenges we do, for me, I hope will result in a better way.
I kind of figured that. That's why I suggested The Perfect Neighbor, because I had a feeling that would help you sleep better.
Yeah, I was.
Odd thing to say. What a very odd thing for you to say. Half the challenges. Huh?
No, it's not. Half of.
Well, it is odd because it's inaccurate, and you did the thing again where you just started saying words, and now you feel like you have to defend the words.
I'm not
gonna find you a video about this.
Explaining how
How the mind works. It's amazing what the mind does.
When we watched The Perfect Neighbor, I watched that immediately because I knew it would make me sad. It did, and I did not want to watch it before bed. When there's something like want something different, that was I don't think we talked about it in the episode, but want something different, what to me was like, I don't want to sleep right now. I want to relax. And I talk about this all the time, but I do think it is very important to distinguish between relaxing and sleeping, because sleeping makes me anxious and I can't sleep if I am not relaxed.
While you're sleeping or when you're trying to sleep?
when I am when I am trying
It's stressful
to
for you to get
sleep.
to sleep and stay asleep.
Yes. Yes. And it's what a great feeling to wake up and immediately be like, oh no. The bougie of waking up and seeing that it's still dark. But the
Stuff that you remember does blow my mind. Oh,
there's a
bougie.
cat, of course.
Because boy, the shits that cat would take. Thank you for that.
The just
Oh, bougie. You hear it from 2 rooms away. Hello, Richard.
as far as I'm concerned, all
you
you
new
new
wavers
wavers are in purgatory. I always say our purgatory instead of RN. I apologize. The taking of drugs in general has been an attempt for me to relax from the previous narrative I gave. One might not be surprised to know that I didn't ever take THC, but have weed until I was well into adulthood. And the same, I'm not even talking about like illicit stuff where I have always tried to get better sleep. Melatonin,
Yeah.
a thing that helps lots of people. Oh, no, full on opposite for me. It gives me nightmares, and that's not
interesting.
super it's not
But
super
this goes back to our
uncommon,
CBT
but-
discussion also, which is like,
Oh,
gosh,
yeah.
stop saying that things don't have effects. You know?
Yeah, yep. And just weed is one of those, or no, I will say weed as in like marijuana, the whole just genre and not specific chemical like THC or CBD or CBG. All of these things that are so very different and not as readily studied as a lot of the drugs I am on from my doctor that help my brain. We just don't know that much about them.
Yeah.
And so it's I was talking about this a long time ago about how frustrated I was that it's really difficult to get really, really tiny just tiny amounts of THC, and I found it, and oh look, 1 milligram of
I want to say just in passing though, I mean, like I want to continue to say be careful with all this stuff, even if it's just quote unquote just one. What is neat about, in my experience with THC edibles, modern contemporary rather edibles, is that it is so beneficial to me that these are, in my experience anyway, pretty accurate, seen accurately dosed or consistently dosed. So like if you learn like, oh, half of these is half of one of these, and a lot of them, the ones I get, like a lot of the edibles are scored, so you could start with half of one or something like that. But I do think that's a benefit over the smokable kind or the unknown provenance kind, is knowing is, on the one hand, if you've never had this particular thing before, whatever that thing is, you have a better sense of what it's supposed to do, and knowing that it's an amount that will do what you expect, hopefully. But then in the long run, to just know that consistently, I mean, it would be almost like sometimes you pull out a stick of gum and it explodes in your mouth. Like that doesn't happen, right? Because gum always has the same amount of gum stuff in it. And to know that like there's this edible or this gummy or this whatever, in your case with these ones, like that's really good. Now you have a baseline you can establish and that you can trust, is, within reason.
Yeah, within reason.
Because things do change and things do get wrong, and
Yeah, and the same thing happens with a lot of pharmaceuticals as well, like legal. My whole thing is when people are like, "Oh yeah, SSRI is super safe, like fine for
your
everybody."
whole thing
like,
is with people SSRIs.
no.
Selective serotonin.
My whole thing.
Oh my
Hold
God!
on.
But you're slurring, and I'm asking you. You're talking about selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, and your point about that is what?
No, my point
It's not
is
what that means.
That is what SSRIs are, but my thing is just the blanket assumptions or statements made about any chemical that you put in your body. And I worry about sounding at this point a little bit like Make America
I'm worried that
Healthy
you don't
Again.
realize that the point you're trying to make is frequently the opposite of the point that you're making. And that's why I keep dunning you and beating your ass about, because I understand I understand and I agree with you. It's just that's not what you're saying. You keep making these like broad. I just want to be careful with our listeners. That's why I keep being a dick about it. Is I agree with you. I agree with you that it's a bummer that stuff is inconsistent. And I think it's a bummer that people say things they are in no position to assure you about like what effectiveness or known effects. That all drives me crazy too. All I'm trying to say, partly to explain myself, but mostly to just ask you to be careful with not telling our listeners the opposite of what you actually think, is that, I agree with you, but make sure, because sometimes it sounds like you're saying, so just take all the drugs you want.
I know.
Which is not what we're saying.
Because
people can get really hurt with that stuff.
I agree, and I get
Well, stop getting mad about me pointing it out then.
No, I get emotional
Because it sounds like you're fighting with me instead of fighting with misinformation. Which you're providing to people by making these what you were saying last week was bananas, and I just want to disassociate myself.
Said it sarcastically, and then
they'll
yes,
know that.
I agree.
Okay.
I know. I don't like.
I was wrong, but I was wrong in a way I didn't intend. So shut up.
The way that I wanted to go about this challenge was just I never had access to a teensy tiny amount since we don't have, by we I mean Chicago doesn't really it's still new here, edibles.
What's
and
new here? The legal THC acquisition?
Yeah, there's still so much novelty to it that it's cheaper to buy like a 10 milligram gigantic bag of gummy bears than it would be to get like just
a large bag of 10 milligram gummy bears, you mean?
Yeah, okay. Yes. I made it sound like a giant a gummy bear bouncing here. I'm gonna
be all over you like stink on shit with this stuff. So just be aware that I will be parsing your words in ways that don't harm our listeners. So just be aware.
Yeah,
because these are things that mean things.
I know.
Yeah.
And
so what'd you try? Did you try your? Anyway, context. Did you try them? What'd you think?
Oh yeah, I just had 1 milligram of indica THC gummies every other night for 6 days, and it was fine. I did not experience.
That's good. That's like so. First bar has been cleared. You're not in an asylum.
No.
Sid Barrett, he did too much of that stuff and he got real weird. So you don't want to do that. You don't want to get damaged.
No.
You're bad enough as it is.
Well, the other reason I put this badly last week. I was trying to state that for me, right? They, them. That just, again, like in the culture of Chicago, because legal THC still such a novelty, it's more for funsy time and not so much a quote medicinal or quote to treat something. And so I've never been like, I want to try to take this to relax versus, oh, this is something that we do instead of drinking. Does that make sense?
Not really.
And
that's me.
Like with a group of friends.
The part I'm not getting is the part I'm sliding off of a little bit is the this is new in Chicago part. Marijuana's been around for a really, really, really long time. So is it that there are people who had never done it before that are trying it now? That's the unusual thing.
Yes.
Now that it's legal, people are more open to the idea of trying this for thus and such reason. And it may not be, it's for largely recreational, I want to get a little bit high reasons, rather than for something that somebody frames as being a more practical or science adjacent, medical adjacent reason.
Okay, and it is seen as less deviant. Like, even in college, it was like, I I smell that, or oh, those brownies, I don't know. And it's still like a moral failing, whether you're like a stoner or oh god, you're black and smoking something smells a little weird. And then dispensaries came to the suburbs, and it's instead, especially folks in their mid to late 20s and to 40s, instead of going out and drinking, just having like a 5 milligram edible. I'm sorry, I don't want to do percentage. Like, people find the equivalent.
Could you use the word mild?
Yes. Thank you. Actually, yes, that's very helpful. Yeah. Instead of going out and having 2 or 3 drinks,
you could also just say instead of going out and having a lot of alcohol, you could choose to have a mild dose of THC.
That way you'd avoid numbers. But it's so you don't feel sick the next morning. That's why older people, it's become popular with quote older people, and because youth is the anomaly. Because there's no, most people who have kids, I'm led to understand, can't puke and rally as easily, mostly for time purposes. So yeah, never had tried THC or CBD for like medicinal purposes, and I'm like, oh, I wonder if these little things will help me relax, because I have not been sleeping well, nor have I been relaxing well in any way. And I expected to have it help me relax the same way when, having a mild amount with friends in the past, instead of drinking, be like, oh, this is relax, it's chill. It it was like a bit of a painkiller. Like I often get headaches, I know, crazy, my jaw locks up, and that was interesting.
That sounds like teeth clenching, Alex.
Yep. Mm-hmm, yeah.
Well, I only know because I used to be, especially with Adderall, I was a teeth clencher, and I kept getting. I'll just say what it was. I kept getting a headache that would really, really hurt, kind of like near my neck, like at the base, which is unusual. Because usually when I get a headache, it's like kind of in the front. Like kind of an occipital headache, but and my shrink was like, well, yeah, you're probably clenching your teeth. And when you clench the thing is, when you clench it's a weird mechanism, It's like when you read about the vagus nerve and you're like, how the fuck is the vagus nerve real? There's no way. That might as well be the yellow brick road. You're telling me it touches all of those organ systems? That's completely insane. And that's how I felt, because it was like, well, you clench your teeth, which means you're probably also tensing up your shoulders. And when you do that little combination of subtle things all day long, it's like when you sit on your foot for an hour and then try to stand up. It's not that big a deal for a minute, but if you do it like all day, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Yep. Had you ever gotten to that with realizing it might be teeth clenching?
Oh yeah, I've tried
or jaw clenching. I don't know what it's called. Jaw maxing, is that what it's called?
TMJ. It's the TMJ muscle. So most people are like, I have TMJ.
You also have to be careful with ball gags. If you throw them too hard, it can really hurt somebody.
I really should have a dentist that isn't in the suburbs. However, my dentist
Alex
knows...
is seeking an urban dentist. Just playing funk music.
Well, speaking of urban, oh my God, I just realized, I wonder if I could take a little gummy and go to the dentist. But anyway,
So we're talking still about the effects of your 1 milligram.
Yes.
What was the, were you at home?
No.
Oh, sorry.
With TMJ, some dentists have a bite blocker. But if you go to a new dentist and say, can I have a bite blocker? And you're not a, teeth expert, like I am not, they don't know what a bite blocker is.
If you could explain it to them, given that they are familiar with mouth, they could probably figure out something.
Yeah, but no. It wasn't until the pediatric. I explained it, and still the technician was like, "I have no idea what."
So,
you're talking
what was the
about.
context for taking the 1 milligram? Were you at home? Were you like in a place where you felt secure? No, this is not a joke. I think that's worth asking. Like, did you go into it with prayerfully? Did you go into it thinking like, I'm not going to go out and I'm not going to get on the train and take one of these and see how it goes?
Yeah, I put on Totoro, and like a stereotypical thing that I would do if Remember when they find the shoe and it's not her shoe?
That's Mae's corn.
God.
That's Mae's corn. I love that movie so much. I have really cute, you know those little cute cups you can get for tea that have a bunch of Japanese things on it and the word in Japanese. Have you ever seen those little cups you can get?
No.
I have one of those for Totoro, and it's really, really cute. It's got all like little Totoro things on it. I do also have a Totoro. I have a Totoro keychain that's got the little stalk of corn on it. And if you look inside, you can see little tiny soot gremlins.
Oh my God! I love the soot sprites. I love them so
Also,
much.
that's
Anyway,
because I'll hear about this later. Also, We Are Bad People for watching the version that's been dubbed in English. You have to watch the subtitle version to watch it properly, I've been told. What a stupid bucket, for example, is not the actual line, I've been told.
yes, it's the context very different.
As ever, stop enjoying things wrong.
So as I
Says
was
one of our
enjoying
listeners.
Totoro, Ron, as I was enjoying that was like my intentional.
Oh man,
that's
and it
my,
had, so like, but like it started the hey, let's go, hey, let's. I love the beginning of that. Dun, 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 dun. Oh my god, I love that movie. And then the sound of the car. Zhung, 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 zhung. I thought that was a policeman. I love that movie so much. You know, that's the Fanning sisters. That's when they're little.
yeah, and
Now
talk
they're in
about
Gaspar
enjoying it
Noé
wrong.
movies. You know, it's really
I know,
crazy shit.
It's so weird. I know.
That the opening of Into the Void, I'm like, oh man, I feel really uncomfortable. It's like when there was the countdown for when the Olsen twins turned 18. It felt so creepy to be watching whichever Fanning girl that was in that movie. Anyways, so you put on, you hey, let's go. You know, you're happy as can be.
Yeah, Totoro is my baseline for how I'm feeling pretty much with any sort of
Totoro's your
thing,
baseline for how
because
you're
it's-
feeling.
I know if I am like feeling fine, as they say.
What's that from? I know that. What is that?
I'm trying. I feel like it's The Simpsons, but
Yeah, or Trading Places? No, that's not it. Anyways, go ahead. So that's your baseline. Great movie. A lot of fun.
by baseline, I mean, if Totoro is on, everything's probably good. Like, it's like, if anything.
Oh, whereas if I'm watching Hypernormalization, maybe things aren't so great.
Yeah, no, I'm putting this wrong. Me? Like, if I put on Totoro, I've seen it so many times throughout my entire life. I know exactly how I feel when my emotions aren't aren't in an unhealthy place one way or another. Like if I'm not, like if
so
I'm
I
too
get
relaxed.
it. Okay, so how about this?
I don't know how to put this,
I know.
genuinely.
No. How about I know I'm getting sick when my throat hurts, but especially when coffee tastes weird.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you've
yeah.
got, what's that word? Oh, it's a word I've never learned how to pronounce, and I'm going to look it up during the break. But you've got not a blank slate, not a tabula rasa, but you're able, it becomes like a, trying to, just stop trying to be
It's
clever.
like a
Stop being clever,
calibration.
Merlin. When you
It's an
watch it, you can
emotional
tell from how you
caliber.
feel about it, you know how you feel. Because you know,
Yes.
you've got the, like you said, you've reset the calibration. And if you're feeling 3 Ronkin, like it's probably not because of Totoro. 3.6, sorry. They go to 3.6 technically.
So if I was, if let's say I had like a fun time, like 5 milligram gummy in the past, or I would be just freaking out, way too excited about the soot sprites and really excited about, oh my God, it's growing. The trees are growing, and just like, you know, thrilled in a way that.
Bong, bong, bong. Did you ever see the Bob's Burgers bit with Totoro?
Yes.
It's really well done. Dun, 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 dun. I love the music in those movies so much.
That's why I used to calibrate. If you're just listening to it, I'm like, oh, that's great. If it makes me
So
sob,
what did it tell
I
you,
know
Alex,
that
when you were watching Totoro? What did it tell you about how things were going?
I did not cry when they
You're going to talk about your experience with the drugs eventually, is that right?
That is, yes, because
Okay.
if I had, I'm saying like in the past with a
5
with
milligram.
more drugs or more alcohol, like less involved with faculties, I would be far more emotional about the film Totoro, either being very excited or really sad. Whereas just with a 1 milligram gummy, I'm like, yes, I enjoy this movie. I don't think I feel that cognitively different, except maybe, again, like the feeling of relaxation. But there's
Sometimes if it works
cognitive
well,
bias
it's just, I mean, it's such a dumb phrase. It just gets you out of your own head.
Yeah. And
It's not that you want to be wrecked, but I being how I am, I have come to really appreciate a mostly dependable way to have a break from myself.
that
It might be the
is
title.
I don't know how I still mix up jealous and envious, but I'm the one where I'm happy you have that, and oh my god, I
Oh no!
wish I did.
Oh no, that's the point. The point
That
is
made
it's
me so happy.
The point is the point is it's difficult.
Oh,
And it's like you know, like I'm not into vacations. Other people like vacations. The vacation I need is from how I am in my head. Which I know is not helpful, but it's how I am. It's who I am. I don't hate how I am. I don't hate who I am. But boy, could I ever use it's in the same way I hope you don't hate your job. It's still nice to have a week off. This is partly why I'd like to be held in some kind of coma-like state for 30 days. I want a full reset.
as Robert Lowell said, I don't want to
You're
say.
quoting
Never
Robert
mind.
Lowell to me. Oh my god, I think my penis just moved.
The,
Oh my
the,
God.
I
Sad
thought
to
we did
think
a
how
whole
much
episode
pain I've
about
caused in
Robert
this world
Lowell.
because there wasn't enough salt in my brain.
You think?
Wait, no, it was close. Well, no, that wasn't. Was that the quote?
I think.
Oh
so.
shit, that's a perfect quote. Let me find
Let me
it.
pull it up.
No, I got it. It's in my thing. It's in my. It's while he's being interviewed with one of the Strauss-Giroux guys. I forget where I first read that.
I first read it in my favorite biography, but not fully a biography, Setting the River on Fire, which I'm sure there's a subtitle.
sounds like a Hank Williams song.
Setting the
Setting the
River
Woods on Fire is what
Fire,
I'm thinking of, I guess.
a study of genius, mania, and character. And
Oh, really?
It's-
Well, so you know about this. Like, by the time he was, well, The Dolphin was not his best work, and a lot of people say it's because he'd finally gotten his shit figured out. He stopped leaving his wife every
did
spring.
not have his shit. Sorry, that was my
No, but
opinion.
like he would get manic every, you know this, right? He would get manic every spring
Mm-hmm.
and leave his wife, and like he would show up trying to conduct the Boston Symphony, and eventually get put back in Macklin's or whatever. It's not, you know, the institution that he was in.
MacArthur's, yeah.
MacArthur's Park is melting in the dark with the sweet green icing flowing down. I hold a locked razor. That's what he says. Remember in his French sailor shirt, Cock of the Walk? God, Waking in the Blue. Very good poem.
It's terrible, Bob, to think that all I've suffered and all the suffering I've caused might have arisen from the lack of a little salt in my brain.
Isn't that good?
And I was actually talking to a friend of, it's unseemly, hey MB, hey, how I realized I could appreciate, I started appreciating poetry way more, not because I started to try, or I both stopped trying to, quote, get it, like what it meant.
First, you gotta hear it and you gotta feel it.
Yeah,
You gotta hear it. Reading it, it's different. That's like reading a recipe and thinking it's a meal.
Yeah, like when I was listening to Allen Ginsberg stuff, it's like I enjoyed it, but the stuff you sent me, I'm like, oh, holy shit.
Hearing
But
him
with
do
Robert
Howl
Lowell,
is pretty neat.
oh,
Yeah.
it's
And hearing T.S. Eliot do
Wild.
The Wasteland. I mean, The Wasteland is such a confusing poem, even if you understand what the fuck it's kind of about, you know? April is the cruelest month, breeding lilacs out to the dead land, mixing memory with desire, studying dull roots with spring rain. Winter kept us warm, coming over the Starnberg say. Chanty. He's from Missouri. Did you know he's from Missouri?
no, I did
April
not.
is the cruelest month. Really, Tom? Is that how we're going to do this? Do you remember? Have we ever talked about Billy Collins and his poem about memory? Have we ever talked about that? Ironically enough, have we ever talked about that?
I don't think so.
Writing that down.
the God, I just realized that the poems of Robert Lowell could also be a calibration for me, because
Life studies, especially life studies. The Union Dead one is no, really. For you, what? What's the book?
For reading not necessarily his poetry, but the letters and correspondence he had with his friends.
Yeah.
That I don't know. It fucked me up in a nice way. Starting to read a lot of correspondence between a lot of poets.
Marianne Moore? Is that the one he wrote to a lot?
Oh, I don't remember.
Lady with the
there are
tricorn hat?
three
I think
women.
Marianne Moore was one of the women people he wrote to a lot. Isn't it weird how
Yeah.
much people used to write to other people? Groucho Marx used to write to everybody. It's the nuttiest thing.
It's awesome, and why I'm glad that voice memos are coming back in a big way. They're very fun. Some people hate them, and that is, I understand why.
Voice memos that you send to people?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
instead
that's
of
some bullshit.
texting.
Don't ever send me that. You
Oh, I
continue-
know.
No, you don't know, because you continue to send me unmarked media. You sent me unmarked media recently on Monday, I believe, just with the phrase all caps big week.
It was.
But you know I'm not going to click that, honey. You know that, right?
Which is why I sent you your which I guess was homework.
That's not how we do that, though. That's not. We don't send markdown documents as a message to somebody. That is homework.
The
I mean,
I was
a
just giving
priori,
you
that's
the
homework.
context.
That's a word, yeah.
I was watching Totoro with my
Totoro.
1 milligram.
Can I just also say, just because it's driving me fucking crazy, I do love the way you say Totoro, because I know I pronounce it too casually, because I say Totoro, like it's the opposite of a frog, or the friend of a frog. But wait, are frog and toad friends? Frog and toad are friends, is that right? But Totoro, you say Totoro, which I like. Like somebody who's had elocution lessons.
Totoro.
All you want
I just
is a
assume that I'm
Totoro.
saying it wrong, or someone will tell me that I'm saying it wrong.
Yeah,
so I
yeah,
do
yeah.
what is a good
It's
mouth.
just nice that people listen. I
for
think it's nice
me.
people listen. So the drugs.
But so drugs, and I just realized, oh man, my jaw, neck, and shoulders don't hurt. And that, turns out not thinking about how I should put my shoulders down, which does help me relax, but in order to relax, you have to think really hard. For
I'll
me,
say it
at
again,
least.
self-awareness is the hack.
Really-
You can't change anything until
Yes.
you're aware that something needs to be changed. And
yeah.
I'll keep saying that because you guys don't realize that, and you think you realize it, and you don't. You haven't. Otherwise, you'd already be better. You have to become self-aware about the thing that you are trying to change. And you have to become triple self-aware if it's a thing you are trying to improve. It's really, really hard. And it takes a lot of presence of mind that does not come naturally to a lot of people, least of all people like me and you.
Or it's an accident when
Or it's an accident.
you take a drug. That's it. I was open-minded about a thing that I went in with zero expectations, other than I am in a safe place with
Good. Good.
all of my controls. And it was like, oh, this is a nice way to feel. I don't know. It wasn't that deep, other than the nice realization that
Yeah, no, I mean, you don't need to impress me. Like, I think it's super cool. I think it's cool. Yeah. Another phrase I heard from hippies, and I'll tell you in a minute. Another phrase I heard from hippies in college was, "There's only 2 doses of drugs, too much and not enough." Which sounds like one of those silly hippie things, but it really is true. And you, much to your credit, were on the side of not enough, which is good.
I don't know, because I have.
Well, because you weren't, but like you follow. But Alex, that's the point of the funny bit, is that once you've taken too much, it's too late. You're on the good side of that. You were on the side of that, which is I could have I'm not sad that I did this, so maybe I should take more. And if there's anything you don't want to fuck around with, it's edibles. Oh man, don't take another one if you haven't felt the first one. Yeah, I did. I tried a new smokable weed, and I liked it a lot, and it's good. I'm not comfortable talking about drugs, but I think there's a sane way to do a lot of this stuff. And fortunately, now that it is becoming less illegal in a lot of places, there's more information out there. And it's not all bad. And, in some ways, the corporatization of some of this stuff, I think, has been beneficial for us. I think it's far from an unalloyed good, but I'm glad it's out there. Makes me happy. It's not the only kind of drug that's out there. I've never done mushrooms. Of all the things I've done a lot of crazy psychedelics, and I've never done mushrooms, which is, it's hard to explain to people like how weird that is. If you're somebody, it would be like saying like, what would it be? It would be like saying, oh shit, I just saw a very funny bit about this. Oh damn, I'll think of it later. But it would be like being very into being very into 60s music and never having heard the Beatles.
Wait.
Because mushrooms are usually if there's any psychedelic
okay,
that people, especially today, have taken, it's probably mushrooms. It's not LSD, it's not 2CB, it could be MDMA. Which I think kind of slots in with that same kind of family. I've had San Pedro, which is a kind of cooked down cactus. I've had Hawaiian wood rose seeds. I have 2CB. I've had, I think I had DMT once. Of course, I've had hash and weed, but I've never had. No. But I'm saying that to make the point that ergo, it's weird that I've never had mushrooms. It just never turned out that way. I've had organic psychedelics a bunch. First time I ever tripped was on something called San Pedro, and but I've never, never had it. And I feel like I should. Now, how do you control the dose with those? Do you know a lot about mushrooms?
Nothing. I've never.
I don't want to lose my mind.
I have no interest in it. I don't have.
No interest at all. You see cartoon cats when you take mushrooms.
I have no interest.
It's like being in a Paula Abdul video. Because opposites attract. MC Scat Cat, he's before your time. Holy shit! Straight Up came out a year or two before you were born. Wow. I had the 12
Roger Rabbit.
I had the 12-inch of that. Roger Rabbit.
Roger Rabbit came out the year before I was born.
And he was in the Paula Abdul video with MC Scat Cat?
No, but he was based off of that. How do you say the word of how he was drawn, like his physique? I don't know. He looks like him. He's got the same suspenders and shit. A little bit, except a bunny. And I thought that Roger Rabbit was a Disney character, and they just happened to do a Space Jam with a Disney character, and I didn't know for years that, no.
That's an adjective I'm not familiar with. Or a noun, I guess. What is
Space Jam?
Oh, you mean where you combine live action and...
Mm-hmm. Okay. I had not yet seen Duck Soup. I didn't know.
Yeah. Have you ever seen Duck Soup?
That was kind of funny.
Really
that was really funny.
Good. Hey, you did it.
Thank you.
We did it.